Palisades.
What up, y'all? We can go ahead and get started. What up? What up? Welcome back. I'm Mo and IJ. This is the Mo you know. Hopefully everybody in LA is safe. It's looking bad out there. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you've been following me for a while, you know I like to keep in tune with the weather. You know, when the hurricanes, everything happening, the floods. I'm always looking into that. But yeah, I've been keeping an eye on these fires, and yeah, the NBA postponed games. I mean, it's bad. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's bad. I mean, everything in the path got torn down. Malibu's all messed up. Palisades, Eaton Fire, the Hearst Fire, Lydia Fire. There's one in the Hollywood Hills. Man, it ain't looking good at all. So we can go ahead and go into these articles, see what's going on. But I do wish everyone out there, you know, wish you guys the best. Get to safety. You know, those strong winds out there, 40 miles per hour, carry those embers. Man, it's bad, 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 bad. Let me see. Let me see. We'll go to CNN, see what they talking about real quick. Failed to load. All right, that video ain't working. But anyway, Los Angeles wildfires, death toll unknown, thousands of structures destroyed, and tens of thousands flee. What you need to know: residents flee deadly fires. Apocalyptic scenes have emerged across Los Angeles County, where deadly wildfires remain mostly uncontained. While at least 5 people have been reported unalive so far, officials Thursday said, frankly, we do not know where the true toll stands. Evacuation orders are impacting nearly 180,000 residents. It's the Lakers game. Thousands of structures destroyed. Uncontained fires in scorching seaside areas of between Malibu and Santa Monica. The most destructive area to be hit in Los Angeles, while assessments are going. Preliminary reports estimate the damage or destroyed structures are in the thousands. I seen one report said it's about 2,000 structures that were destroyed, and they're looking at maybe $56 billion worth of damages. Hold on. What it's like in Los Angeles. The day began with some relief and relaxation in the Santa Ana winds allow fire crews to dump water from air, but intense winds are expected throughout the day. Some Los Angeles County residents will continue to face hazardous conditions and hazardous conditions as polluted air and unsafe water pose a threat in several areas. Pollution from fires can travel long distances and penetrate the lungs and bloodstream. What up, Catalyst? When I was in San Francisco, when I was living up in San Jose, San Francisco area, I think 2022, the sky was all kinds of red. Let me see. They got a video on here. Here's some drone footage. Let me see what we got. See, I ain't nobody that's loading up. Damn.
Here is a satellite picture of the Eaton fire just this morning. It shows nearly every building in western Altadena on fire. In the Palisades, the destruction, it's immeasurable. The fire there has destroyed at least 1,000 structures so far. Homes now smoldering rubble, restaurants, businesses lost, a public library totally destroyed, multiple schools significantly damaged. And these fires, they are sparing nothing. They're impacting communities from all walks of life and destroying places people visit every single day. Here's a Starbucks in the Palisades just before the fire. Now, this is what it looked like when it was ravaged by flames. It's now just a husk of charred cement, only a frame of what it once was. Here, the entrance of the Will Rogers State Beach in the Palisades. And then the apocalyptic scene when the blaze came through, palm trees aflame. This is what once was the Altadena Community Church. Here it is, just hours ago, flames bursting through the windows. And these are homes in a neighborhood along the Pacific Coast Highway
All of them gone
before
now.
the inferno. This is them after.
Man, look at that. And these are $1 million homes too. You know, they right there on the water.
Or at the inferno. This is them after. Along the Pacific Coast Highway before the inferno. This is them after. Covered in smoke. Nothing but rubble.
That's the one thing about America, man. They get
I just want to show you what's happening right now. So this house,
I know there's a lot of people talking about, oh, who started that fire? How did this start? This is, to be honest, this is the norm in California. Wildfires start off at any given time, you might have 20, 30 wildfires. Now, have all of them been this big? Nah, they definitely haven't. But when I was living out there, that's when I realized in California, there'll be all kinds of wildfires. You might not even hear about them, but they just pop up. And with these strong winds, man, it pushes these fires so damn fast. There's no way you can keep up to it. So, you know, people conspiracy, oh man, the government did this, man. You know, they not doing anything like this. It just take a little cigarette. Even you could prevent forest fires. We learned that as a kid. Just one cigarette. You won't, as a kid, you don't think of one little cigarette or a little match could actually do something like this. I told you the police got called on my brother and I. We We raked up a pile of leaves in the backyard and we set those on fire. And I'm talking about that fire got so damn big, it was about to hit the leaves and the sticks that were the stems, not the stems, but the branches that were coming off of the tree. Because we probably had probably about 3 foot high pile of leaves. And we took a piece of newspaper and we lit the newspaper on fire and we threw it on top of the leaves. Woo! We thought the water hose was gonna be able to put it out. We got it down for the most part. But that's when they called the fire department on us. The police showed up, and it was just me and my brother. But yeah, the fire almost took, if it would have got the tree, then we would have lost the house because the tree had branches hanging over the back of our house. It would have been over with. But as a kid, you don't think of nothing like that. So when Smokey the Bear told us only you can prevent forest fires, the little bitty ember, all it takes is that to hit some of this underbrush, the wind to pick it up, and then there's no stopping it. It hits one house, that next house hits the next house, the wind carries it to the next house, there's the next block, and it's over with. There's really no stopping it.
We talked about it's burned down. The house next door has not. Fire crews are here. They do have water in their trucks, and so they are hosing down right now. We actually got splashed by it. They're hosing down the roof of this house in the hopes that that will stop this house from being destroyed by this fire, because embers coming. I mean, when you see the flames from here licking that house, so they're trying to keep that roof wet. The captain was saying earlier, they really look at the attics. If smoke is pouring out of the attics, if the roof is on fire, if it's gotten to that point, if it gets into the attic, then the house, if they don't have enough water, then the house is going to go. Gavin Newsom was in this area earlier, about an hour or so ago, and I spoke to him just up the block. Here's our conversation. What's the latest?
Well, 5 dead, likely more. Just complete and utter devastation. I've been in a lot of these fires, a lot. Going back to Paradise, and this approximates Paradise. It's not a numeric, it's just a feeling, sense of loss, place, belonging.
Still no containment.
No, we're at zero containment. The winds have been a little bit more favorable, as you've seen in the last few hours. So we've got the helicopters back up. We've got some fixed wing aircraft. Out on the coasts, it's a little different. It's pretty intense. We have 23 aerial assets just at the Palisades, but a lot of them are not operational because of those winds. So it's a combination of challenges. That said, we've depleted all our resources. Northern California, we'd already pre-positioned on Sunday. Hundreds of personnel, special units, water tenders, dozers, engines, helicopters, and it wasn't enough. And now we're getting the mutual aid system, the EMAC system. Governors from all across the country are calling. Oregon sending a few dozen engines, and in Arizona, Utah, we're just grateful for all the support.
Actor Cameron Matheson.
And another thing you see, when you have fires like this is unexpected. So I know people talk about, oh, we're not sending any money. Listen, when these fires happen, it's not like they just have people in Congress or, people just sitting around. All right, go ahead, write this up. It's going to take a minute to put it together, a package deal to send this money out here. And also, people talking about they're not trying to contain the fire fast enough. These winds are 40 miles per hour with gusts up to like 80, 90 miles per hour. You're not able to fly your helicopters out there to get these planes in. On top of the winds, you can't even see what the hell's going on because fire produces the black smoke. So Canada has came down and they actually helped out also. It's just, there's nothing you can do. There's really nothing you can do at this point. It sounds bad, but at some point you got to let some of it burn out. There's no way you're going to be able to contain all of this. You got that dumbass dude, Donnie J, talking about the water is right there. We can just get the water. Well, obviously, your goofy ass thought 625 million acres of water was the whole ocean, which is only 2.5% of the Atlantic Ocean and 1.7% of the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, I went and did the math to go find out how much water it actually is. But they can't get over there. They can't access the fire because of the wind and of the smoke. So we'll get a time lapse of this. But you see what I'm saying? How much smoke there is here? You can't even go in there and fight it. The firefighters definitely aren't going to be able to go up there and fight it. All they can do is try to keep a perimeter. But with the wind blowing, it can blow this off the hill, hit one house, and it's over with. It'll just start up somewhere else. It was wild, though, I tell you that. See something. So here goes a before and after how the wildfires tore through LA. This is on BBC. So this is what it looked like. Oh, let me zoom out. Why is that? Oh, okay. So here goes a business in December of 23. So a year ago, this is what it looked like. This is what it looked like now. Golly. This is May of last year. So what? 7 months ago? 7, 8 months ago? This is that Starbucks they were talking about. Man. Palisades High School. Sheesh. Ain't even nothing there anymore. This is out in Malibu. So all of the oceanfront homes, all of those are gone. Altadena. They trying. Well, I guess they trying to. I don't know what they spraying over here. You try to spray the house down, even though you're not gonna be able to stop that fire with no damn water hose. Wildfires destroy homes. Drag the button to see the left and right destruction. So this is what it looked like. And this is what it looked like now. So all the houses, this whole neighborhood is gone. Damn. It looks like this house though, right here in the middle, may have made it. Probably got a little bit of fire damage, but other than that, I don't see anything standing. Jeez. So right now they got 1, 2, 3. They got 5 fires going on right now. At least 5 wildfires ranged across Los Angeles area on Thursday, destroying more than 2,000 structures. Jeez. And look how strong that wind is. You can't get in here and fight this, man. That fire jump. There's a movie, or it may be a TV show, but there's a movie that I watched as a kid, and that really fascinated me. Of course, you got the movie Twister. Since I lived in Kansas City, we was in Tornado Alley. But there was a movie called Backdraft where the firefighters used to fight fires. And that's why I learned, like, before you open up a door, if the knob is hot, of course you see that on Home Alone, but if the knob is hot, you don't want to open that up. And it was called Backdraft because when you open up the door, it's just going to bring in that new oxygen and like blew the door open. And to me, that's when I was like, all right, I got to stop playing with fire from watching that show, Backdraft. Let me see if I can find that movie. Yeah, this movie right here, Backdraft. If you ever get a chance to watch this, it's about some firefighters. Oh, what we got? $28. It's a movie called Backdraft. And one of the brothers, well, they were competing a lot. What up, Eric? They were competing a lot. So this is when, even though the fire that I caused, because I got in my car wreck at 92, so the fire was probably about 94 that me and my brother caused. But this movie right here, I kind of didn't want to play with fire, but I played with fire. We'll get back to this before and after. But if you look at these wins, there's no way, if we would have had more white firefighters, because that's what they're talking about on the news, the DEI hires. I don't care if you white, black, brown, blue, green. The way this freaking fire is going and this wind, there's no one that's going to be able to go in there and stop it. They talking about, well, we got all that water, we can drop it. You can't see through the damn smoke. Where are you going to drop the water off? You just going to fly through the smoke, la-dee-dee, drop the water here. You can't see nothing. Billy Crystal said him and his wife have been in his home since 79. It's gone. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Dang. Join us for a joyful Christmas season. And the crazy thing about this is in LA, but it's not in LA, if that makes sense. Like, there's still people in down. I got a homeboy in LA. He got there yesterday. Like, life is still going on, but these fires are just around the city. They're not actually like downtown LA or anything, but the surrounding areas are just on fire, and the rest of the people, they're just going on with life. But that shows you how big Los Angeles County is for it to say 200,000 people are affected. And then I think that the population of Los Angeles is what, 3 million, 4 million? 3.8 million in 23. So like it's still like a small percentage of that are directly affected by it, but I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's crazy. So here we go. More than 200,000 were left without power in the wider Los Angeles area Thursday, according to poweroutage.us. Officials ordered nearly 180,000 people to evacuate. More than 7,500 personnel have been deployed to combat the fires, including firefighters in neighboring states. So when people say, "Oh, they're not doing enough," man, they should have. Dog, they're getting people from other states. Mother Nature always has the upper hand. There's nothing that mankind is ever going to do to prevent Mother Nature from doing what Mother Nature does. Now, as far as the cycle goes, forests catch on fire, and then you got, what I'm saying, you got new trees and everything that sprout up out of that. That's just the way life is. It's unfortunate, but we are on Earth, and that's how Earth, cleanses itself. A fire come. That's how islands are made from volcanoes. It's Mother Nature. All we can do is try to combat it and adjust and adapt to what happens from it.
California's famed coastline flattened and charred. The scale of this disaster hard to comprehend.
Pretty devastating. I don't think LA's seen anything like this before.
I hope in the future we can find a way to maybe even better prepare or to prevent this from ever happening again.
So how did an inferno sweep through suburban Los Angeles in the middle of winter? The LA Fire Department says the blaze started here in this residential neighbourhood on the edge of a mountain ridgeline. It quickly spread to this expansive area and eventually new fires broke out in other parts of the city. The fires were fueled by the parts of the city.
So look, and this is what I'm explaining. When Mother Nature takes place, there's nothing you can do about it. Initially, this started from a house catching on fire. That caught on fire next to the forest catch on fire. So even if you try to contain that, all right, we get over there. With the winds going 40 miles per hour, what did it do? It swept up this fire and threw it to 4 different other locations. There's no way you'll ever be able to prepare for that. I mean, you got wind maps, but that's not going to tell you where the ember is going to land. It just takes a little ember to just land on something and whoosh. You see what I'm saying? So you'll never be able to prepare for all of this. Now, of course, where this house caught on fire, this is where the main part is. This is out in Malibu. But this one house fire spread 4 fires across the whole city. So there's no way you can really prepare for that. You see what I'm saying? Unless everybody just, hey, there's a fire here. Everyone go outside and start spraying everything down with water. You'll never be able to prepare for this. The wind's going to carry it wherever it wants to. If the wind carried this out into the forest, then the forest would just be on fire. It's just the way, I don't know. It's the circle of life, man. But there's no way you'll ever be prepared for this. So there's no blame to anybody. You can't say, oh, we would have had more firefighters. What the firefighters going to do? They're going to put up a wall and block the wind from blowing the fire somewhere else. All you can do is you can try to prevent other things from catching on fire, but you're not going to be able to stop it. So that's why I don't understand them. Oh, we're sending money to Ukraine. What are we going to do with military aid? What are we going to do with sending tanks to Los Angeles right now with a forest fire? What is money? Someone explain to me, what exactly is money going to do right now while the fires are going on? You're going to take $100,000 out there and say, here, stop the fire. Money is not going to stop this. It's the same as with hurricanes, though. It doesn't matter how much money you send there until this subsides and burns its way out or the flood water succeeds. It's like there's nothing you can do at that point. Money will be sent out here, but they got to put together a package. They got to assess it. They got to see where the money's going to go. They got to allocate it. It's not like you just go lay TM like, well, let's go send this money out there. So I don't like when I hear people say that, because it's more than let's just send money. We just heard that they've got 7,500 personnel from Arizona, Utah, Oregon, and sent stuff down. Canada is flying planes down. They're doing the best that they can. If you feel that passionate about this and you have the complaints, take your ass out there and volunteer and do something. If not, shut the fuck up. Because what are we going to do? What are we going to do? One house turns into 2, 2 turns into 4. What are we going to do? All get out there and hold hands and tell that fire, hey, halt, fire, stop. We can't do nothing. The wind's going to carry it. It's going to have to carry it out. The only thing we can do is evacuate, and hopefully people got insurance for their places. It's really all it is, man. You know, we joke around and stuff, but I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I'm older. But I'm like, man, shut the fuck up. They always gonna bring it up. Man, if they didn't have that many, if the fire chief wasn't a female, what is a man gonna fire? What is a man fire chief gonna do? Not a damn thing. There's been fucking forest fires and wildfires. It didn't matter who's in charge. That shit's gonna happen. It doesn't matter.
The fires were fueled by a dangerous...
Look, here go 2 white men right here. They didn't stop the fire. It doesn't matter who you are. You're not stopping this. Once this happens, it's over with. Nature's going to run its course. One thing about nature, it was here before us and it's going to be here after us. Nature is going to do what nature does. There's no control over it.
wind event, which brought hot hurricane-force gales. Here, a satellite image shows the
Look, they're talking about hurricane-type speeds. The wind is going to carry it. It's going to do what it does. And it's going to continue to be wildfires in California and the surrounding states that have these wooded areas.
Santa Ana winds created by the mountainous landscape in California and surrounding states. Air pressure builds in the high grounds of the desert. The wind warms up as it descends the mountains and then speeds up as it passes through narrow canyons. Those gusts fanned flames that firefighters couldn't control.
The fires will not stop while those winds are blowing. Santa Ana means devil wind for good reason.
Another factor, extra dry conditions this year, an excess fuel load in the area.
There's been very little rain at typically the time of the year when there is helpful rain.
What DeMarcus say? It never rains in Southern California. This is an ideal spot for fires to kick off. I mean, it's just the way life is, man. It's the terrain. Like I said, we're humans. All we're doing is we got to adjust and adapt to whatever nature throws out there. We can't stop the winds in the mountains. We'll be going to blow the mountains up so there won't be any strong winds coming down. But then that's going to alter everything else. The mountains are there for a reason.
This is when Southern California gets its needed rain for the entire year during the winter months. It just hasn't happened.
The parched grounds in densely populated areas, a recipe for disaster.
The last 2 winters have been very prolific in terms of rain and mountain snow, and that caused vegetation to green up. And then when it's been dry in the last several months, it all dried out and created a tinderbox.
It's an almost impossible task to contain fires in these conditions. Now emergency services in some parts of the city are running low on an essential resource.
100 fire engines, flowing water. We are gonna stretch our water system.
These fires forcing residents and authorities to redefine disaster season.
Unfortunately, we're seeing climate change in action. We're seeing worldwide lengthening fire seasons.
The global impacts of these fires still unfolding. Isabella Higgins, ABC News.
So here goes another fact to why. What up, RC? Also, everybody, the ocean is the ocean is right there, man. We could use the ocean water. Did people forget what is in the ocean water? What's in ocean water? Someone just tell me. It's real simple. What's in ocean water? And that right there will tell you why we can't use ocean water primarily to fight fires. Exactly. Salt is a corrosive. The fire trucks can't use salt water because it's going to tear up their trucks. And then the next fire is going to happen and they're going to say, well, why don't we have any fire trucks? Because some idiot said, hey, let's use salt water. We can't use salt water. That's why whenever you see them bringing the planes in, they're getting the water from lakes and not from the ocean. Because if you throw salt water around everywhere, it's going to tear shit up. But simple-minded people they're not gonna understand that. It's just salt water, right? We could just use the ocean. No, we can't. It's gonna tear up all the trucks. It's gonna tear up all the buildings that are still around. It's just, I don't know. Let me see. Let me look that up real quick. Continue the site. So Ontario is sending 165 firefighters, supplies to support fight against California wildfires. And they'll be doing the water bombs where they collect the water from probably Lake Tahoe, fly it down. I don't know what other lakes. Let me see. Let me get a map. I don't know what lakes are close to Los Angeles. I know Lake Tahoe is up, but that's closer towards the bay. Are there any major lakes that they can re-up on in Los Angeles? No, I don't look like they really got nothing. I mean, they could. Yeah, they can go to Lake Tahoe, collect some water. I don't know where they would. Salton Sea, but I don't think they would use that water from there. So here you go. Let me see. Lack of water is hampering LA fire battle. Why not use ocean water to fight the fires? What's up, Mozzie? Multiple daily wildfires burn across Los Angeles, and hundreds and thousands of residents flee their homes, and the lack of water is impeding firefighters' effort to fight the flames. More than 27,000 acres of Los Angeles have been scorched since the flames started on Tuesday. California Governor Gavin Newsom told CNN the fires had caused complete and utter devastation. We've depleted our resources, he said, as fire hydrants across the region ran dry. The hydrants are typical for 2 or 3 fires, maybe 1 fire. And then you have something at this scale. The department's 3 water tanks, which hold about 1 million gallons each, ran out Wednesday morning, Chief Engineer Los Angeles said. Department of Water and Power told reporters at the press conference, we're fighting a wildfire with urban water systems, and that's really challenging. In response to the lack of water, firefighters were seen Wednesday scooping water from a Pacific Ocean in a firefighter plane, according to KTLA. Is it really that simple to use ocean water to fight a blaze? Here's why using a seemingly obvious solution of neighboring ocean water isn't a clear option. Look, growing up, Daniel found a solution. Fires in California is called water. Now, if you're doing the wildfires out in the woods, like let's just say it's just a whole wooded area, yeah, you could drop salt water out there. We got to just put the fire out. But when it comes into the city, they can't put the salt water in the fire hydrants. They can't put it in the fire trucks because it's just going to corrode everything. And then we'd have to get all the pipe systems and everything redone. And then we're spending all this money on the fire hydrants. But while salt water can be effective while tackling the fire, it's not practical for firefighters to use it routinely or system-wide, and it can be environmentally damaging. That's what I said. We could do it out in the woods. I mean, a lot of salt out there would hamper new growth from, the vegetation. What up, Torian? According to technology.org, saltwater can be corrosive to firefighting equipment and cause damage to tools such as tanks, hydrants, and hoses. Additionally, the high salt content of water is also potentially damaging to the ecosystem where it's used to put out fires, often causing a barren landscape in those areas for years after. And that's what I was talking about. The new vegetation won't grow up because of the salt. That'll be absorbing the water. Salt will stay in the water. It's not like sugar where it dissolves. It will still be there and it will be in the ground. So as far as new plants being grown, the salt's going to absorb all the water. New plants won't be able to sprout. And that's why they say to be a barren land. But see, we learned all of this in elementary. It's just a lot of people think that the stuff you don't learn in elementary, the very key stuff, it's just little stuff that we learned as kids. It does apply to your everyday life. Everyone always talking about, man, we don't use such and such math equations. Everything we learned in science, it didn't matter. But look, we learned in science as kids, salt, sugar's going to dissolve, salt isn't. That's why there's salt water. It's just going to stay there. But if you apply what you learned in fucking elementary to being an adult, then life is actually a little bit simple. That's why they taught us that shit in school. Everybody talk about, we don't need school. They don't teach us anything. Well, it would have taught your goofy ass not to put salt water into the fire hydrants. But then they said my daughter's school is near a fire in LA. Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. The salt water, to use salt water as an effective as effectively as hydrant water. It needs to be oh no, yeah, you definitely ain't gonna be able to do that. Desalinated as a controversial proposition in America. So, well, as far as drinking salt water, you got to boil it. You got to get that salt out of there. What you want to do is collect all the fumes that come out of there. Then you can drink that. But I mean, that's some survival type stuff. Have I seen the movie Volcano? It looks like that. Oh yeah, I was just telling them about the movie Backdraft. That was one of the first movies I used to watch. Well, one of the first fire movies I watched. Let me see. So we can't use salt water. Everyone's talking about we could just use the ocean. That's not going to work. We got 7,500 people that came in from the surrounding areas. We don't care about which celebrity's house was torn down. They're rich. We talking about us regular folk. Let me see some video.
The winds that are taking a break right now, it's going to be brief. All right, so hopefully this is the time period. This is
the Rams and Vikings it'll probably be canceled or postponed. The Lakers game and the Hornets was postponed today. And shout out to my dog Kawhi Leonard. Yesterday he didn't play in the game, and everybody on the internet, oh, Kawhi ain't played the game, man. He should just retire. And look what the NBA does the next day, because they knew they were damn wrong to be having people play when the whole city is on fucking fire. It's just little stuff like that, man. But you know me, I just get on Instagram. I be trolling people, but I be calling them out on their bullshit.
is the window where I want to show you what's going on. The winds have definitely increased since early this morning. It's getting up to about 30-mile-per-hour winds in Camarillo, the mountains out towards the Inland Empire, some stronger winds in the usual wind-prone areas, but not the 60, 70, 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts we saw, right? Now watch as we put it into motion. It did increase a little bit. We're going to continue with this intensity through the afternoon and evening hours tonight through tomorrow morning. So that's what the firefighters have to contend with, but
you look at all the wind. All of the wind is right where all the fires are coming off the mountain. Like Los Angeles has got like 2 miles per hour. But look at all this over here. That wind is kicking in.
Here, a little calmer. Parts of the San Gabriel Valley, parts of the foothill communities that had to deal with the winds coming down from that Eden fire and those.
And this is for tomorrow. So there's no telling if hopefully we're praying that none of these fires jump and go anywhere else. Because all it takes is a gust of wind to send this into central Los Angeles and get one building. Because remember, they said this whole fire started because of one house caught on fire next to the forest.
Mountains there in Pasadena. It's going to be a little bit more of an onshore flow as we get to Saturday. That's a good thing. That's going to add more moisture into the atmosphere, right? Also give us some lighter winds. However, as we look ahead to next week, Sunday into Monday, we're watching another round of stronger winds. See that?
If they can't contain this by the weekend, man, it's going to get back up to 45 miles per hour coming up off the mountains.
So the brighter areas. So the offshore flow is going to stay with us. It'll get a little stronger, a little weaker, a little stronger. It's not going to be quite as ferocious as the last couple of days. That's the good news. But that being said, it doesn't take much wind to continue to fan these flames. So the danger's still with us. Temperatures today, though, will be in the mid to upper 70s. That's the result of the offshore flow. Often warmer closer to the coast and the basin than it will be inland. 42 in the mountains, 64 in the high desert, 72 in Palm Springs. So we're going to talk more about the watches and warnings that are still in effect, as well as the 7-day forecast coming up in just a few moments. In the meantime, I'll send it back.
This is what I wanted to ask about also, because just real quick, I mean, this is pertaining to the fires. So that's all we got right now. 20 people arrested for looting in Los Angeles area wildfires. And I was about to ask that. We've seen, especially out in Malibu, a lot of the stuff has been torn all the way down. And this isn't like a hurricane where you have maybe a week to prepare for it. Now, all the buildings aren't burned all the way down. I was wondering if there was going to be any. Well, I wasn't wondering. I knew there was going to be some looting, but I want to know onto what scale is there going to be looting, because the banks still have money in there. Now, if most of the vaults do have concrete outside, so the concrete will probably still be there. ATMs, they're going to be burnt, but let's just say if they weren't damaged, that's what it's about to be. A lot of looting. I'm not going to lie to you. We trying to pretend like it's not. We're going to see what this 20 people is. 20 people arrested for looting in Los Angeles area wildfire zones. We'll play this after we get done. At least 20 people have been arrested for looting in the wildfire evacuation zone in Metro Los Angeles this week. 20 individuals chose to go into our areas and deprive these people who have been through so much of their property. The sheriff told reporters at the morning news conference, no details about the arrest. The destructive, more than 100. These criminals need to, geez Louise, these criminals need to hear an unmistakable message that if you want to go ahead and loot, you want to commit burglary, if you want to engage in grand theft, you will be arrested, said the district attorney. You will be prosecuted and you will be punished to the full extent of the law. Luna said he has directed deputies to increase enforcement within the evacuation zone, roving patrols, and hard road closures. Anyone caught within evacuated areas, Luna said, could face misdemeanor charges or felony charges if they are caught looting. If you are in these areas and do not belong, you are going to be subject to arrest. So I guess these are the evacuated. So everyone up here evacuated. So if you're in the evacuation, that's kind of like if you're still around here. You remember on Rush Hour? Push the goddamn button. If they're still around here, that means they're up to no good. So here's an interactive 3D map. Let me see. Palisades Fire interactive 3D map. Where's this map at? Let me see what's interactive about it. So if you look at just going off of this map, so this is I'm assuming the orange is where the fire is, the orange and the red, and this is the evacuation warning. So as far as right now, this area isn't on fire, but they're telling them evacuate because with these winds coming in off of these mountains, we see 8 miles per hour, 15 miles per hour, 10. With the winds coming down here, so it's 2 miles per hour on the low in the actual valley, but gusts are 6 miles per hour. All it takes is a little bit, and in this area be on fire, and it could just end up pushing all the way through the whole city. Sodom and Gomorrah. Hey man, these. Let me see some what they talking about over here.
Appropriate in the next few weeks. We welcome it. We need it. redcross.org, sign up to become a volunteer.
You can only imagine. Your heart goes out to those affected. You can just imagine what they're feeling. We can't, but we're here to support them. We've been trying to talk to families arriving, and they're just so devastated by what has happened. What are you hearing inside the
Same
building?
thing. Folks are not sure if their homes are still standing. They're not sure what their next steps are going to look like. The most we can make sure that the most we can offer is that they're taken care of, that there's hope. Once we step away from the recovery part of this operation, the response phase, and the fire has been extinguished, we'll go into recovery where we'll set up local assistance centers with our community partners, our local officials. City, state, national partners have been fantastic. The coordination between your emergency management departments, the county's teams, the governor's teams, FEMA coming in, support's going to be there. But right now we're really focused on reducing loss of life, making sure folks have immediate emergency shelter, food, water, and comfort.
And this is what I'm talking about. You look at all of this, the firefighters didn't put this out. The fire just eventually had nothing else to burn. And that's what I keep saying. Like, as far as it's going to run its course, all we can do is contain the fire. Well, attempt to contain it. Something on this scale, it doesn't matter who's president. It doesn't matter who's the governor. It don't matter how many firefighters are out there. All we can do is contain it and try to protect everyone on the outside of this area. and it's eventually going to burn itself out. Now, it's unfortunate that, you know, it's in residential areas and there's no control of it. But it'll run its course, and, you know, that's what Americans do. Well, that's what humans do. We just got to rebuild. I mean, it's unfortunate, but everyone has different natural disasters that they're going to come across. Like I said, I'm from Kansas City. We got Tornado Alley. You got people on the East Coast, they got their hurricanes. California, wildfires, they got earthquakes. Up north, you got snowstorms. Down south, they get here with the hurricanes also. But one thing we always notice is it runs its course and then we're right back at it. I mean, it's resiliency. That's how it is, man. Life wasn't meant to be easy. You just got to adjust with what we got. Stay safe and make sure that your loved ones are good. But at the end of the day, this is just materialistic shit. And, you know, as long as you got your life, yeah, you might be set back a little bit. But as long as you're living, you definitely have the right to complain. But you got to look at the good, you know? It sucks. Even, we joke around about, okay, y'all celebrities, we ain't worried about y'all. But even them, some of them, they losing $3 million, $4 million house. That's Malibu that was on fire. So typically you don't see the rich people being affected like this. Normally what we'll hear in these stories are the celebrities, they got out, you know, the celebrities got money. But when it's a natural disaster, it don't matter if you're a celebrity or you're a homeless person. You could be the richest person or you could be the poorest person. When natural disasters happen, there's no favoritism. Everyone gets hit with the same thing. So yeah, you might have a little bit, we got money that we can evacuate, maybe let's say our whole family. We could do precautions where we can get people to help move some of our personal belongings out. But at the end of the day, natural disasters, they're natural. And, you know, it's life, man, you know. I do follow, you know, when hurricanes are going on, I'm putting in the Discord before hurricanes are forming. I'm like, hey, man, they talking about this tropical storm. I don't know. I've always been impressed by it. Like I said, I experienced a tornado. My mother, my younger brother, we were in the closet, and my dad, I always thought my dad was a G because my dad didn't get in the closet with us. We got a hurricane. It didn't touch down. But I always thought my dad was a G because he didn't get in the closet with us. We were in the closet in one of the guest rooms. It was the centermost part we had because all of us couldn't fit in the bathtub. So we in the closet, but we was in the center wall, and my dad was sitting. I remember got looked out. The door was cracked on the closet, and my mom was like, get in here. And all you could see outside, because he didn't have like the blinds or nothing open. He was just sitting there. I don't know why. But outside, you can hear the wind, the rain and shit. The hell was coming down. You can see like the lightning. And my dad was sitting in front of the window. Now that I'm older, I'm like, man, he was an idiot. But as a kid, I was like, damn, my dad was cool. He was about to withstand. He was kind of like Lieutenant Dan when the damn hurricane was happening. Lieutenant Dan was out there. That's what I looked at my dad as. He was sitting in front of the window, just looking out the window. But and now I'm as a adult, like, hey, get your goofy ass in this closet. But I don't know, man. My dad was a G. That's how I always looked at it. I mean, hey, you busy? I'm on a live.
No, I'm right here with Dad.
Hey,
yes.
You remember when that hurricane was happening and you had me and Aunt in the closet and Dad, you were yelling at Dad because he was sitting in front of the window?
It was a tornado.
Yeah, I mean not a hurricane, a tornado. My bad.
And I was begging him to come hide with us, and he said, "It's our time to go. We just gonna go." And I said, "Well, come in the bedroom, so if it's our time to go, they can find your body."
No, because we're talking about the wildfires now. And I was just telling them, like, man, when natural disasters happen, there's really nothing you can do. It's going to run its course. But I was telling them about the tornado. And, you know, they be thinking that I'm lying. I just remember you were yelling at Dad. And I remember looking out I was looking out the closet door, and I could just see the lightning and stuff through the window. He was just sitting there.
Julius, the fire trucks were going down the street with the bullhorn saying, "Take shelter, take shelter." And Bruce was just looking out the window. I'm like, Lord have mercy. But I got diapers, and no, you standing here talking, Bruce.
He survived. Hey, hold on. So wait, are you telling me Dad stopped a tornado? Oh, Dad went out there and stopped the tornado. Hey, y'all hearing it first. My dad stopped the tornado. See, the fire department said, "Hey, take cover." My dad was outside. My dad went outside with a fan. He blew the tornado the other way.
But those people should still run. I mean, if it's gonna take its course, it's gonna take its course. But you gotta think, what have you got a mind for? Still vacate. I mean, come on now. I'm gonna sit here and let the fire jump over my house. I'll be darned. I'm out.
See, that's exact. I just said the same thing before I called you. I was like, it's unfortunate, but you still living. So I mean, if you got a heads up to get out of there, man, save yourself, man. To hell with everything else.
Yeah. Why do we have a mind? I mean, what the world are we supposed to be thinking about? Well, it's gonna miss my house just because it's gonna miss me. Yeah, no, I'd be running too. Them folks are fighting those fires with garden hoses.
Oh, right there.
I'm like, come on now, y'all. If the fire can't put out the fire, and you have your garden hose.
That's what that's what I'm saying. I'm like, man, they're trying their best, but this is a huge fire. It's not like just one house is on fire. They're not gonna. It's just gonna have to burn itself out. That's the only thing they're gonna be able to do.
Exactly.
Don't have to sweep the forest like Trump told me to do.
Oh yeah, he did say go and sweep the forest.
Yeah, he said rake the forest floor, and that'll take care of everything.
You know, the crazy thing is this fire didn't start in the forest. It was a house that caught on fire, and the wind took it.
One house is doing all of this?
Yeah, it was from what they said, there was a house that caught on fire, and then it got to it hit the little forest line, and then from the wind picked it up from there and threw it to 4 different spots.
That wind is something else. But even the people who were trying to drive out at the last minute with their cars, then the rubber on the tires were burning. Oh my goodness. No, I'm not waiting around. Right now, you will know if a tornado or siren comes on, I go right down in the basement. But now Dad brings down food and stuff, so if we get stuck down there, we're good.
Yeah, he older. I don't know if he got that arm strength to get rid of another tornado.
One per lifetime, huh?
Wow. I should have got the camcorder out and recorded it. That would have been historic.
Okay, right. Well, yeah, I'm in agreement with you, and probably your guests or your audience. Get out. If you can get out, get out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I tell them. Like, man, my family, we don't play around. We ain't risking it. It's over with. We're gone.
Wait, now there are people looting. Whatever's left over, people are going through the rubble looting. I said, y'all have no mercy.
Mom, you think just like me, I literally just brought that up because I wanted to bring it up, but we were having a serious moment. But I know people going to be looting.
They are. It was already on the news. Now they have to watch out for looters. I said, good gravy. They just don't give up, do they? But I'm sure like change and some stuff isn't burning. So,
yeah, that's what I said. Everything isn't burned down. But then again, you got to look at it. They just lost everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this isn't the people whose houses caught on fire. It's probably like people from the city coming out there and doing it. But still.
Oh yeah. Shoot.
They fire chasers, storm chasers, and
yeah, they're out there just going through the rubble. Like maybe I can use this. Maybe I can use that. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but that's life, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's a natural disaster. All we can do is wait for it to do what it's got to do and then rebuild.
Is Is that anywhere near San Jose where you were?
No, this is down in Los Angeles, so this is about 5 hours from us. But remember, we had that huge fire in 22 where the whole sky was red for like 3 days.
Oh, I'm not playing with none of that. We had a snowstorm here, and the side streets, like our street, is packed with snow and ice. So your Aunt Kim is here. And I said, Kim, don't come. Why are you driving from Minnesota here in the winter storm? Julius, is nothing on the highway. But in my mind, everything looked like our street out here.
Nah, they gonna get the highways together. But I didn't want much. I just remembered the tornado stories. I wanted to call because we survived that. Hey, I want to thank Dad personally because I didn't know the magnitude of what he was doing. Like when I thought he was looking out the window, I thought he was just making sure that the windows were shut. Little did I know he was planning on how to counterattack the tornado because I think the tornadoes go clockwise. So if he took the fan and went counterclockwise, it would dissipate the whole. Okay, I see what Dad was doing.
Lord help. Goodbye, son.
All right, love y'all.
Love you. Bye-bye.
All right. We got a little bit of snow, but other than that, I guess we'll catch the rest of you guys' weather. It'll be freezing the rest of the week, so.
Yeah, we saw you with the snow on your windshield.
Yeah, we got off. We were off today for the funeral.
Oh, that's right. But this is a day of mourning. What are you doing?
Oh shit! I gotta go to work tomorrow. I still got a job. I can mourn. I got up this morning. R.I.P. to President Carter, but I gotta live life, man.
I just want to say one thing. Did you see who was sitting next to President Obama?
Oh yeah, good old Donnie T. The guy that said 625 million acres of water is the whole ocean.
Bye.
I love y'all.
Let's don't go down that rabbit hole. Love you. Bye.
All right, bye. Yeah, man. So y'all heard it first, man. I survived the tornado. My dad actually put the tornado out. The tornado was coming towards the house. My dad went outside. He was fanning it down. Tornado was gone. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, these are true stories, man. When I give y'all these stories, they true stories. My dad stopped the tornado, according to researchers say. But I just remember looking out the door because I wanted to see if I could see a tornado. And I remember looking out the closet door. My mom was yelling and screaming and crying, "Get in here! At least come in here, so if you do." And Aunt was little. Aunt was a little kid, but I just remember looking out the damn closet door, and it was just you could hear the fire truck. Take cover, round, take cover. My dad didn't take no cover. That nigga was doing whatever, man. My dad was doing whatever.
And here closer to, for example, the Hearst fire, Van Nuys and Ventura as well, offering 30 days of free self-storage. So,
oh shit, U-Haul's giving you a free oh, that's good. I don't know what Planet Fitness is giving out for free. Probably you could stay in Planet Fitness for free, or like use the bathrooms and showers and stuff in Planet Fitness. Free rental cars for the affected area, Metro fares suspended. That's good.
please contact U-Haul if you need that assistance. We mentioned this yesterday, Planet Fitness in LA County, no membership required. They're opening their doors to residents who've been displaced, as well as first responders who need somewhere to take a shower. They have Wi-Fi, they have chargers available. They're really just offering a comfortable environment, they say, to rest and refuel for those who need it. Sweetfin is offering free meals this month for first responders. Just provide an ID card for that. Dogtopia, they're in East Pasadena. I verified with them this morning because I know they mentioned this yesterday, wanted to make sure they weren't full. They are helping by offering 3 free overnight stays for animals, for people who've had their dogs who need maybe to just get their dogs somewhere for the night so they can get things figured out. They're also offering 50% discount on nights beyond 3 free nights. You can go to dogtopia.com for more information. Free rental cars are available for fire-affected Californians through Culver City Toyota. Culver City Toyota is giving free vehicle rentals on a first come, first served basis while their supply of.
All right, I see you guys talking about insurance. So, we're going to bring that up because we always got to do a little deep dive. Canada sending us 165 people. 1 hour ago, there's actually an article up here. So we'll go through that. Thousands of Los Angeles homeowners were dropped by their, come on. Thousands of Los Angeles homeowners were dropped by their insurer right before the Palisades Fire. So they were dropping people for the fire. Pacific Palisades, Los Angeles neighborhood that's been devastated by the fire is emblematic of the insurance nightmare increasingly facing homeowners residing in the regions. About 1,600 policies were dropped by the State Farm in July. California Department of Insurance spoke Michael Soler said in a Thursday email to CBS Money Watch. An analyst of insurance data by CBS San Francisco last year found that State Farm also dropped more than 2,000 policies in 2 other Los Angeles zip codes, which could include Brentwood, Calabasas, Hidden Hills, Monte Nigo neighborhoods. In an email to CBS Money Watch, State Farm said, "Our number one priority right now is the safety of our customers, agents, employees impacted by the fires, and assisting our customers in the midst of tragedy." So State Farm decision reflects a trend of private insurers, including Allstate and Farmers Insurance, dropping California policies or halting underwriting, leaving homeowners with the choice of getting coverage through the insurer of last resort. The California Fair Access to Insurance Requirements Plan, or FAIR Plan, or forego insurance altogether. The FAIR Plan provides basic fire insurance coverage for properties in high-risk areas when traditional insurance companies will not. So this is kind of the same thing we've seen in Florida. A lot of insurance companies in Florida have been backing out because they didn't want to have to cover hurricanes, the floods, and everything. So what it looks like is we need to do a class action lawsuit against all of these major insurance companies if they're not going to insure us in high risk areas, and we got to go to the California Fair Access to Insurance Requirements Plan or the FAIR Plan. This ain't right. How are you an insurance company, but you're dropping cases because you'd have to pay out? With what we just seen was 3,000, 2,000 policies, 1,600 policies. So what, 3,500, 3,600 policies, and they said over 2,000 structures were destroyed. So with these 3,600 policies that have been dropped, that's probably right there the $50 billion that we would need to get over this. So that's something you definitely got to watch. But they knew something of this nature would happen. There was even a firefighter, he was on Joe Rogan. I don't really listen to Joe Rogan, but I did see there was a firefighter that said this in July 2024, which coincides with them dropping these policies in July. He said eventually there's going to be a fire that's going to go through LA all into the water that we're not going to be able to handle. Let me try to find that real quick. Come on, load up, babe. What we got? Come on, man. I ain't trying to go on X. X can get crazy over there. Insurance is a scam until you need insurance. You know what I mean? It's like all the months that we aren't using insurance, it's like, damn. But the moment you do need insurance, you are covered by it, then it's like, okay, good. So here goes the Joe Rogan clip by a firefighter. Everybody's saying Joe Rogan predicted. Joe Rogan didn't predict the damn thing. The firefighter predicted it, but we could all predict this eventually, just like a hurricane. We know they said last year hurricane season was probably one of the biggest ones that we ever had. That's not going to be the only one. 10, 20 years, there's going to be another one bigger than that. So it's not really like making a prediction. We know it's going to happen. We just don't know when it's going to happen.
I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the reasons it freaked me out. And he was telling me, he goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind and fire's going to start in the right place and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean. And there's not a fucking thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
You just have to evacuate, right?
Nothing they can do.
See, I mean, but that's not even really it is a prediction, but when you think about it, there's fires happen every single year. It's just the way the earth is, man. Like, without us, the fires come through. When the fires burn down everything, then you got new vegetation that's going to pop back up. It's the same thing when we watched The Lion King. They told us about that in The Circle of Life. What did he tell Simba? We eat the antelope, and when we die, the antelope eat us because we'll go into the ground. It just happens like that. And also, what did we see? When Scar took over the Pride Lands, what happened? They ran out of food. They lost all their water, and everything was just devastated. It looked like goddamn a decimated area. And what happened? Eventually, it came back. It came back. So the Lion King showed us all of that. There was a fire. When Simba was fighting Mufasa, when Simba was fighting Scar, he threw the ashes in his face. They were out there fighting. And after the fire went back, guess what? All the green popped out the next year. You see what I'm saying? It's just, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But we'll continue on. We got the insurance. Thousands of people lost insurance. As a result, homeowners in the Pacific had increasingly shifted to the FAIR plan, with roughly 1,400 of the town's 9,000 homes covered by the plan in 2024, more than quadruple the number in 2020. According to data from the insurer, in other words, prior to the disaster, 1 in 7 homeowners were reliant on the FAIR Plan Act. The Palisades Fire could become the costliest wildfire in history because the number of buildings that have been destroyed and the structures rank among the nation's most expensive homes, said Daniel Swan of the University of California, Los Angeles. On Wednesday, a webcast about the disaster, the neighborhood's 9,000 residential units have a median home value of $3.1 million. 9,000 homes times 3.1 million. We're looking at 29 billion. We'll just say 28 billion just off of the median cost. So it's about 29 billion worth of homes over there. Not including any of the buildings within the town. So we're looking at, just for this one area, $50 to $60 billion. And that's why the insurance companies got up out of there. The insurance companies got out of there because they knew it was too expensive over there, and all it took was one little fire. While personally and financially devastating to homeowners, the Los Angeles fires, which include the Eaton Fire and several other wildfires, are likely to place added stress on the state's already fragile insurance market. Experts and lawmakers say it is an issue that extends beyond California, with similar issues facing homeowners in Florida and Louisiana. We just talked about that, man. They're trying to leave all of these high-risk areas because they got to pay out. And of course, everything goes up every year. There's no way you're going to ever stop inflation. You're not going to be able to bring grocery prices down. You're just not. You're just not. So it doesn't matter who's in charge. It's always going to be like this. We will be watching to see whether the collapse of the trembling homeowner insurance market accelerates after this added shock. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse said, a Democrat from Rhode Island, wrote on X Thursday. White House serves as a Senate Budget Committee, which last month issued a report about climate change impact on insurance market. Now, some people say that climate change is wrong, but it's not. You know what I mean? Because it's getting drier and drier, and hurricanes are picking up. Because if it gets drier and drier in Africa, also, that warm wind is going to come across the Atlantic Ocean, making hurricanes stronger. So, in reality, climate change is real. In California, State Farm last year said it was discontinuing coverage for 72,000 homes and apartments in the state. Since 2019, more than 100,000 Californians have lost their insurance, according to a San Francisco Chronicle analysis of insurance data. A full-scale financial crisis. With climate disasters increasing in frequency, the insurance industry is grappling with a new calculus amid rising costs and risks. That's prompting some insurers to decide to renew insurance policies in counties that are most at risk from climate risk. And it's not only within California and other usual suspects, the Senate report found. The data confirmed that it is climate change that is driving increasingly non-renewal rates. It noted, second, that the data revealed that Florida, Louisiana, California, and Texas are not the only places experiencing spike in non-renewal rates and increasing premiums. Premiums are about to be through the roof. Yeah. Nikema, we were talking about that earlier. Only you can prevent forest fires. You see, everything we learned as kids, it applies to our adult life. It's just, did you retain that information? We used to Smokey the Bear. Only you could prevent forest fires. The reason Smokey the Bear was around is because the first time the reason Smokey the Bear came around is because there was a forest fire started by a guy that flicked his cigarette. And then from there, they wanted to make sure that that never happened again. And that's where Smokey the Bear was actually established from. California wildfires. That's where Smokey the Bear came from. Get back to this insurance. Other regions facing rising non-renewal rates are southern New England, the Carolinas, New Mexico, and counties in northern Rockies, Oklahoma, and Hawaii, the report found. The insurance just isn't local. This is predicted to cascade into plunging property values in communities where insurance becomes impossible to find or prohibitively expensive. A collapse in property values with the potential to trigger a full-scale financial crisis similar to what occurred in 2008. We know what happened in 2008. I lost my job in 2009. That's what happened. But here's how it works. Climate change makes risk unpredictable. Risk makes insurance unaffordable or unavailable. No insurance makes mortgages unavailable. Without mortgages, property values crash, cascading like in 2008 in general economy. White House wrote on Thursday. So while everyone's blaming the presidents ain't got no control over this. They could force these insurance companies to give you insurance. But with them forcing to give you insurance, that's just going to raise up your premiums. Your monthly cost is going to be a lot. And in cases like this, you're going to be paying through the roof. But if people aren't buying houses, like you said, if there aren't any mortgages, then the property values go down. So houses need to be sold, because if there aren't any mortgages, then property value is going to go down. Your house is dependent on what the next person's house is. The housing market is based on what was last sold. So when you try to sell your house, they go off of, hey, that house down there sold for $500,000. They sold for $500,000 last year. that means my house is at least 510, 520 if I wait a year. So it always goes off what the next one is. But if there aren't any mortgages, people aren't buying stuff, then that means the value of the property is going down. Well, the property is still going to be the property. The land is always going to be the land, but you get what I'm saying. As long as there's no mortgages, then what? No one's moving into there. We're not going to insure anything over there because there's nothing there. It's a desolate area. So everything plays a part. It's just a big domino effect, man. So under the FAIR plan, steer their California get some help. Okay, there's some potential for near-term relief. Homeowners in California could get help from a new state regulation announced Monday that will require insurers to offer coverage in wildfire-prone areas. This is exactly what, see, this is exactly what we was talking. We're gonna go into that, but we're gonna see if they put a cap on how much they can charge you. Because if the insurance companies are forced to do something like this, you know they're going to try to get even and they're going to try to skyrocket these prices. So hopefully there's a cap on what they can do if this new regulation is passed. The ultimate goal for the new rules is to get homeowners out of the FAIR plan. California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara's office said the average cost of insurance on the FAIR plan is about $3,200. Or more than double the typical homeowner's cost in California. Is this monthly? This can't be monthly. This has to be for the year. The average cost of insurance on the FAIR Plan Act is $3,200. That's got to be for the year. $266. Yeah, that's got to be for the year. That can't be monthly. Ain't no way. The rule will require home insurers to offer coverage in high-risk areas, something the state has never done. Laura's office said in a statement, insurers will have to start increasing their coverage by 5% every 2 years until they hit an equivalent of 85% of their market share. That means if an insurer writes 20 out of every 100 state policies, they need to write 17 in high-risk areas. Oh, so that's good. So that means 3 in the regular areas, but you got to do 17 in the high risk. He said that's monthly. Who the hell is paying $3,200 monthly? That was my rent in California. And when I left, my rent was $33.80. When I left California in July of 2023, I was paying $33.80 for my 2-bedroom apartment in downtown San Jose. Well, I had my insurance through USAA. I had what? I had $25,000 homeowner insurance, well, on my apartment. And since it was through USA, I wasn't paying that much. I think I was paying like $100, $120 a month. So at least, all right. So they got the new regulation that they're trying to put in there for the high risk areas, and they need to increase every 2 years by 5%. All right. In exchange for increasing coverage, the state will let insurance companies pass on the cost of reinsurance to California consumers. Insurance companies typically buy reinsurance to avoid huge payouts in the case of natural disasters or catastrophic loss. California is the only state that doesn't already allow the cost of reinsurance to be borne by policyholders. See, that's what we were talking about, man. They ain't trying to pay that. So, because they would have to pay out for something like this, roughly about $50 to $60 billion, which they don't have. Opponents of the rules say that this could hike premiums by 40%. Yeah, man. See, this is everything I've been saying. This is all that's in these articles. Like, of course, the insurance, they're gonna be like, all right, if we got to do 85% in the high risk, then we're just gonna drive the premiums up. If the premiums go up by 40%, we're paying more, but then the insurance companies aren't paying out that much because the reinsurance is going to go to California. So it's never ever going to even out, because if these premiums go up, then us, the consumers, got to pay more. But then the insurance companies don't have to pay out everything, because California insurance companies typically buy reinsurance to avoid huge payouts. So that means California will implement that, and then these insurance companies will take all of our premiums. But if it's a natural disaster, then they don't have to pay it out, but we still have to pay our premiums. And in the end, they win because they collected all the premiums but didn't have to do the payout, because the reinsurance is doing the payout. Now, let's just say the reinsurance is doing the the reinsurance is doing the $50 billion payout. They paid maybe, let's just say, $100 million for the reinsurance in case this ever happens. So this is just insurance on the insurance. So they don't have to pay it, but they get to collect all of the premiums, which is going to total more than the $100 million that they were spending for the reinsurance. So in the end, the insurance company wins. The insurance company wins with the reinsurance, because if this is a natural disaster, hey, that's a natural fire. We ain't got to pay it out. The reinsurance pays out, but they collect all of our premiums that are fucking through the roof, which isn't going to cover everything that you lost. So the insurance company's still making a profit, unless they can say that this is not a natural disaster because a house was on fire and the house caused it, and then the insurance will have to pay out. They say I be pocket watching, but hey, man, I like to follow the numbers. You got to see there's a paper trail somewhere, and somebody's getting paid. Now, I want to know who's getting paid, because we aren't getting. You got these through the roof premiums. Your house burned down. They can assess that and say, well, we only thought it was $200,000 house when we just heard that the median was $3 million. So no, my house is worth $700,000. Nah, we're gonna give you 500,000, and then whatever else you had in there, we'll give you 600,000 total, which is 100,000 less than what you had. And you're probably not going to rebuild in that same location, because now rebuild it. And the thing that happens with this, yeah, you get that insurance money. It's different from your house flooding, and you go in there and you might have mold damage. You can go in there, you can get that fixed in a month, 2 months. But if you're trying to rebuild in that same area that your house is going, you're looking at least a year minimum, 2 years minimum to get that rebuilt. And there's no telling in that 2-year span. Yeah, you could have it budgeted for, hey, we got this insurance policy. We're going to do 500,000 to rebuild our house. By the time you get that house built in 2 years, with inflation, the price of material is going to go up. That 500,000 you initially invested into your house that you got off of your insurance claim, you're not going to be able to get that same house for 500,000. It's going to be 600, 700,000 after inflation. So you're probably not going to rebuild in that same area unless you're a millionaire. You're going to relocate, which is going to leave all that land open, which we already know the billionaires are about to come in there and eat up all of this land because they're starting fresh. So with that being said, you didn't pay all these premiums, but you had to relocate out of that area, because can you really afford to wait 2 years for your house to be built while you're living out of a hotel while the house is being built? So it's really terrible. And we know that the median price range of these houses, they said, was $3 million. Now you got to remember, a lot of these people are making $200,000, $300,000, but these houses probably weren't paid for. So in order for them to get another $3 million house built, that's going to take years to get rebuilt. Now, the people that are millionaires, we already know that if the median price is $3 million, they're going to come in. They ain't going to do nothing but dry that up. So gentrification not only works for lower cost communities, but in this event, we're going to see everybody go in there. The rich people go and buy up all that land out there in Malibu, and they're going to start to build it up. So this place is not only going to be, the median house right now is $3 million. Let's say in 2 or 3 years when they rebuild all this up, plus with the market, they're going to be, the median house is going to be about $5 million out there. So even the people that were making $200,000, $300,000 a year, they won't be able to afford to live out there. It's crazy how this stuff works. $500,000 a year. Now you can't even live where you used to live because of a fire, and the prices just got drove up because everybody didn't rebuild in that area. They took their money and just relocated. Exactly. There'll be in 3 years that it'll all be new. It'll all be new. But what we're going to see is all these major companies, they're going to start buying up buildings. It's a circle of life, man. Californians deserve a reliable insurance market that doesn't retreat from the communities most vulnerable to wildfires or climate change, they said. So insurance is about to be crazy. That's pretty much the same thing we said, 85% over 2 years. Yeah, man. Let's see what FEMA has for this. Well, FEMA only has a certain amount of budget, though. Let's see what old Donnie's talking about. He gets lying all the time. Fact check. Fact check. Fact check. Fact check. As wildfires rage, Donnie lashes out with false claims about FEMA and California water policy. What's going on, Tamika? Let's see. Another natural disaster, another series of false claims from President Donald Trump. We know Facebook is getting rid of fact checking because they want to get into the good graces of Donnie. For years, Trump has littered with statements on California wildfires and other disasters with inaccurate assertions. He did it again on Wednesday as wildfires raged in Los Angeles. At one point, he did say California should sweep the forest. Yeah, okay. Trump claimed on social media Wednesday that President Joe Biden is leaving him no money in FEMA. Like he's just going to FEMA. Hey, FEMA, spend your money. Trump's claims is false. Though FEMA's disaster relief fund was depleted last year by a series of major disasters, Biden signed a bill in December that replenished the fund. So everyone talking about we can send all this money to the Ukraine, which they're sending military aid. Yes, a little bit of money. Biden signed a bill in December that replenished the fund. The current balance of the disaster relief fund is approximately $27 billion. So that was in December last month. FEMA told CNN in an email, the sum may well provide inadequate to meet the needs created by every disaster that ends up happening this year, but it's not no money. Now, you got to remember, we just had that hurricane season at the end of the year. So the fiscal year started in October, so that's when the money kicks back in. But that took a large lump sum where they were saying, oh, FEMA isn't putting any money. When the natural disaster happens, they don't just send the money that first day. They got to do assessments. They got to try to make sure that they're allocating the funds to the right area. They need to document it. So all of that's lying. But you got to remember, this money has to last for the whole year. So we got major fires happening right now in January. Then you start thinking, what if we have another hurricane season like what we just had? That's towards the end of the year. We don't know if there's going to be any more forest fires, any floods, or anything of that nature. But there was a bill that was signed in December for $27 billion to be put back into FEMA. Now, I don't know what FEMA's actual number is each year. We'll probably look that up. All right. The December bill approved $29 billion in new money for a disaster relief fund. Biden had asked Congress for $40 billion. So Biden isn't just sending money to the Ukraine like everyone thinks. He's actually asking for $40 billion for disaster relief, plus billions more in other new disaster-related funding. thanks to Congress, even though that was 11 million off of what he asked for, thanks to Congress' recent passage of disaster supplemental, FEMA has the funding and resources needed to respond to the needs of California, the agency said in the email. Trump made similar false claims about FEMA being out of money in the wake of the hurricane season. So every time you hear people, oh, Biden ain't doing nothing, well, actually, he is doing something. You just don't read the fucking news to go find out what he's doing. You just listen to Donald, who just gets on here and lies and lies and lies. Newsom in a water restoration declaration, Trump blamed Democratic California Governor Gavin Newsom for the wildfire crisis, claiming in a social media post that Newsom refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snow melt from the north to flow daily to many parts of California, including the areas that are currently burning in virtually apocalyptic way. This is false. Newsom has never refused to sign our water restoration declaration. In fact, there is no document. So everyone on Instagram, if you responded to me, don't worry. When I get off of here, I will be back to comment and obliterate you. Don't argue with me on social media because I will give you the facts. There was no document, like I said, that was ever presented for a water restoration declaration. What the fuck does that even mean? There was no water restoration declaration for him to sign. Jeffrey Mount, a senior fellow in the Water Policy Center at the Public Policy Institute of California think tank, said in Wednesday, there was never a water restoration. Wait, so this is the same person. Well, not the same person, but Brent said, an environmental studies professor at the University of California. So there was no water restoration declaration. That was a lie spread by Trump. And of course, Trump supporters are fucking idiots who just goddamn go with whatever this doofus says. No one ever facts check anything. And it's just fucking a wildfire out there. You say one thing and it just spreads and spreads and spreads. Now, I'm not the smartest man on earth. I don't know everything. If I don't know something, I take the time and I go research it myself. If you guys tell me something, I'll be like, oh, I didn't know nothing about that. And what do? I get on here, I Google it, and I try to find the information. But there was nothing of that nature. Also, they're talking about use the ocean water. We already debunked all of that. In 2020, Newsom did mount a legal challenge to a Trump plan to deliver more water from Northern California to farmers in the state's Central Valley agriculture hub, saying he was seeking to protect highly imperial fish species close to extinction in the Sacramento Delta in the north. Trump's transition team said Thursday, I'm gonna try to play that clip for you, but Trump said on Wednesday, Trump's team said on Thursday that what Trump was referring to, but on the contrary, Trump's assertion this federal initiative was not a declaration for Newsom to sign. We'll explain the fact-checking item below. See, this is that shit.
Well, it's very sad because
we don't want that one. Let me see.
Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump,
including the areas that are currently burning in a virtually apocalyptic way into many parts of declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snowmelt from the north to flow daily into many parts of California, including the areas that are currently burning in a virtually apocalyptic way. We showed the post to the director of the UC Davis Center for Watershed Sciences and law professor Kerrigan Burke.
Did Governor Newsom refuse to sign a specific water restoration declaration? And does such a policy or document even exist?
There's nothing like that. There's nothing that exists. It's true that Governor Newsom has resisted the last Trump administration's efforts to change how water was managed in the Delta, but there's no document like what he's the past president's referring to.
Newsom also responding saying, quote, "There is no such document as the Water Restoration Declaration. That is pure fiction. The governor is focused on protecting people, not playing politics, and making sure firefighters have all the resources they need." Trump also said Newsom prioritized what he called a worthless fish over people's needs, resulting in water shortages for firefighting and other uses. The fish Trump is referring to, the Delta smelt, is a small fish about 4 inches long, and the Sacramento River was once teeming with them. But in recent years, wildlife officials haven't been able to catch any living in the wild. Professor Burke says without environmental controls to protect them, the Delta smelt are a small part of the state's water policy.
Even if we didn't have the Delta smelts in there, we'd only be able to increase diversions by about 15, maybe 10% on average to the rest of the state. I want to be real clear. There's no tie between the Delta smelt and the fires that are burning in LA right now.
There have been reports of firefighters running out of water. The issue, according to the water department, isn't the lack of water, but getting it where it needs to go. Demand is so high right now that as water travels through the pipes leaving the reservoir, a lot of it gets used up by firefighters closer to the source before it can reach crews and tanks that are farther away. Luke Clary, ABC 10.
So there you go. The smelt is not the problem. Oh, Donnie. Okay, California water policy. In the same social media post, Trump continued that Newsom refused to sign this fake bill that was never there. He didn't care about the people, blah, blah, blah. Trump continued, now the ultimate price is being paid. I will demand that this incompetent governor allow beautiful, clean, fresh water to flow into California. Does this goofy not know that Sacramento is California? That's actually where the capital of California is. I blame y'all, man. I blame y'all, man. Y'all voted. He said he want fresh water to flow into California from the Sacramento River, which is a, oh, wait a minute. The Sacramento River goes through Sacramento, which is in California. So fresh water is flowing through fucking Cal. Oh my God. Y'all did this. What up, Trill? What up, Trill? We just, you can't comment because that's your commander in chief. I'm no longer in. I can say what I need to say. But all right, so he is to blame for this. On top of all of it, no water for fire hydrants, not firefighting planes. Well, as we just heard, the water coming from the reservoir is going to the firefighters closest to it. They're using it up to fight the fire. So by the time it gets to everywhere else, it's not that much water. And he's talking about no firefighting planes. We went over that at the beginning of the live where we're talking about they can't fly through the dark smoke because they can't see anything. Unfortunate that, that's around the same area where we lost Kobe at. Those hills, you can't see anything. We're not about to risk any planes going through there. We're going to probably have to let this die out. Facts first, these Trump claims include exaggerations, inaccuracies, and overreaching false narratives. Most notably, experts on California water policy said Wednesday that there is no basis for linking the existence of the Southern California fires or challenges in firefighting effort to water that is kept in the north of the state to protect the smelt and the ecosystem of species. Southern California does not have a shortage of water for fighting fires. Mount said Trump's claims in the social media post don't make any sense and none of it's true. He said the debate related to the water in the Northern Delta has nothing to do with the fires in Southern California. It's entirely possible we will learn that the state or local leaders made policies or planning failures that impede the firefighters' effort in Los Angeles County, but there is no apparent link to the particular question Trump has reportedly invoked and was discussing again in this social media post, which is about how much water should be sent from the north to the Central Valley farms that are separated from the Los Angeles by multiple mountain ranges. Blah, blah, blah. Whether the merits or flaws of Newsom's position on the protection of the smelt in Northern Delta, but all three of the state's major reservoirs were filled at or above their historical averages on Thursday morning. While it is true there are some dry hydrants in the Pacific area, the Palisades area, Los Angeles aimed to, amid the extreme weather demand, water demand. Jeez Louise, man, I'm over here stumbling over everything. There are some dry hydrants in the Pacific Palisades area of Los Angeles amid the extreme weather demand of the firefighting effort. That significant problem, which you can read about here, was related to local logistic factors affected by the area's mountainous ranges, not the absence of water in the region. Oh my God. At no time was water scarcity in general an issue. Whether there were local shortages or water during a firefight, due to the infrastructure constraints, but Southern California has plenty of water in storage right now. So that's not a limiting factor. Man, I'm telling you, look, you're going to hear a lot of things. You're going to see a lot of things. But if we're just being honest, look, they even say it right here. Had it said that Trump's comments were so stupid that they should be ignored rather than discussed in detail. There is no connection between environmental protection in Northern California and low flow fire hydrants in the Pacific Palisades. Other Trump inaccuracies. When aren't there any? There are various other factual problems with Trump's claims in the Post. Trump's vague claim that there are no firefighting planes is untrue. Firefighting aircraft were back in operation over Los Angeles County on Wednesday, armed with water after being temporarily grounded starting Tuesday night because of the high winds. So they stopped flying Tuesday night. And Wednesday, they didn't fly. They weren't flying because of the high winds and the smoke. They couldn't see, and you're not trying to go over these mountains dropping water when the wind is going to blow it further away from it, or you trying to maintain this plane. So since they didn't fly for one day, he said there were no firefighting planes. The claim that there is no water in the fire hydrants is a overstatement. Hydrants in other parts of Los Angeles County did have water. The hydrants where the fire was dry because they were using it all. Advocates of preserving the Delta smelt want more water, not less, for the Delta area where the species live. And on contrary to Trump's suggestion, Newsom hadn't stopped the water from flowing into the state entirely. You know, there you go, man. The more you know, man. The more you know. Well, we about 2 hours. If y'all got anything else, we can look it up. Oh yeah, we got Smokey the Bear history. Smokey the Bear was brought to the U.S. Forest Service from New Mexico in June 1950. Smokey the Bear 2 was in California after being burned as a cub from a forest fire that swept through a portion of Lincoln National Forest. Yep, Smokey the Bear, man. Only you can prevent forest fires. Smokey the Bear's history in California is linked to the state's role in World War II and the threat of wildfires from enemy shells. So even back then, they knew that a potential wildfire could take out everything. So that's why Smokey the Bear came out. Yeah, there we go. Los Angeles fire. Let me see what the hell else is going on. How long ago was this? California wildfires live update, 180,000 evacuated. Let's see.
Yes. And you never know what's going to happen. And we may lose those houses, but if at least we can still try, that would be really great. Because if there's a resource, we should use this resource since we know it's happening right there. So thank you. So appreciating. And I really pray that we can save the street, if possible. And my heart goes to everybody that have lost their house. It's just so horrendous. I really. These are your neighbors. Do they know yet that their home's burned? Yeah. It's just awful. I mean, Seriously, it is awful. It's not something that we could even have conceived, that we are all having so much loss and devastation. We were on Sunset. I did not recognize Sunset. I thought we were somewhere else. It's not conceivable. I'm sorry.
No, no, please don't apologize. We've been trying to find the words.
Thank you. I don't know if I have the word for it or not. It's so big and so beautiful, that's the house. If we can still save some, I can be safe.
So this was earlier in the day. They talking about Palisades Fire burning 17,000 acres. 0% is contained. You're not going to be able to contain a fire of this magnitude, especially with all these houses, the terrain. It's unfortunate. It's going to have to burn out. All you can do is pray for rain at this point.
A stretch thing, but if we can still prevent more loss somewhere, it's worth the fight.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Thank you
for
so
sharing your
much.
water. I hope they're going to take those out, and they're going to take this one here as well.
Yeah.
And I hope that the house does not burn. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for just speaking with me and for even trying to save your neighbors' homes, you and your husband with buckets, with extinguishers. This is community. You know that.
Look at these houses, man. That's terrible. First death confirmed.
Human remains have been confirmed found inside this home last night by the sheriff's department. Looking at this scene right now, the LASD deputies are on scene, and so is the medical examiner's office. And they tell me that the medical examiner's office will work to make the identification of the person who died here in the Palisades fire. So here's what happened. It was a missing persons report initially, and they tell me that that turned into a welfare check. So the LASD Lost Hills station conducted the welfare check last night, and they discovered those remains. So
Look at this house. The only thing that left is the bricks and the brick fireplace. Man. It says somebody lost their life in this house. Man, that fire ain't no joke.
their investigation is ongoing right now, but again, the medical examiner will make that positive identification. One thing that the detective with the LASD just told me is that what happened here, again, this is a residential home just off Pacific Coast Highway, and apparently one person left and one person stayed behind, and they don't know why they stayed behind. He said potentially to fight the fire. We don't know that at this point, but it turned into a missing persons report at some point. Then that welfare check, and the welfare check led to the.
Hey, don't, like I always say, if there's a hurricane coming, don't try to weather the storm. They talking about flooding. Don't think you can go up high enough. Fires, don't try to fight it. Just leave. Take what you can and leave. And if you can't grab much, make sure you grab your ID. Make sure you grab, I say, your ID and what money you do have. You might lose a lot of sentimental stuff, but you want to leave with your life. That's unfortunate. If they were here trying to fight the fire, man, we seen what happened out here. Everything was on fire. Look at this truck. This is something you would see as a prop in a movie. We don't typically see anything like this, or we would have watched the news from a bomb being dropped on something. There's no way you can fight this. There's no tires on this car. There's no paint on this car. There's no windows. It was probably, the only thing I could think of is maybe it was just like a little fire on the roof, and they tried to, like spray it down or something. And they were thinking maybe we could contain it, and you never know, man. The wind could have picked up, and at that point, they may have been surrounded on all sides by fire. But Like, you never know what somebody's thinking. But I joke around all the time, but when it comes to like stuff, like, I'm not messing around with this. Once I hear that there's a fire, I'm leaving. I already know everything I'm taking. Obviously, I'm taking my hard drives. I got my backpack with all my, you know what I'm saying? I keep a backpack ready to go. I got a bag upstairs. My travel bag is always ready to go. It got all the stuff I need to get up on the road. I keep that together. But I'm grabbing my backpack. My laptop is typically always in there. Grab my hard drives. And man, everything else, man, to hell with it. I got all my photos and stuff on one of these well, it ain't plugged up, but one of these hard drive got that, man. Shit. I don't know, man. But you never know, man. Maybe they like, man, this is my house. I'm gonna try to, you know what I'm saying? You don't know how big this is gonna get. Cause if let's say you did stay and you did put the fire out on your house, or you knocked it down, and it's like, okay, good. We saved our house. Me, I'm not risking it. If there's a fire on the way, I'll probably spray down the house and make it wet and then wish for the best. But I'm still leaving. I'm not going to stick around and find out. So they said that the fire started because a house caught on fire. And the house caught on fire, it was right on the forest line. So once the house caught on fire, the fire made it to the forest that was in the backyard. And from there, the forest caught on fire. And then the wind picked it up. And that's how the fire started in 4 different areas because of this one house fire. Let me see. I think they said it was
discovery of the human remains. So that is what this scene is all about right now on Pacific Coast Highway. Detectives are here. The medical examiner's office is here as they work to make that identification of the person that was discovered after the Palisades fire.
Yeah, I forgot what we were at. There was an article we seen earlier where it said it was a house that caught on fire and then it went to the forest from there. Live updates, fires in California. Yeah, I can't find it. But earlier in live, we were watching one of the videos and they pinpointed where there was a house fire because the fire department was called, but the fire made it to the forest and then the wind picked it up and dropped the embers in 4 different locations. Smoke or ash alone is enough to make logical folk move along. I mean, I don't I mean, it's RIP to them, condolences to their family. We don't know what so we can't really, I'm not judging them or anything. All we can do is say what we would have done. But yeah, if I know that there's a fire going on, because this is something, when this happens, you're getting an emergency alert. I lived in California, a little earthquake that may have been 100, 120 miles away from us. We got alerts in California when the fires went off in, I think, 2022. We got alerts like, hey, stay indoors in these areas or to say evacuate because of the smoke. This here is the fire that I went through.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Lookout. Today's the 3rd of September. We're going to take a look at active fires. And
so when I lived in California, there was a wildfire just like this. So this is where I was staying at. Let me see if he got a larger map. Oh, no, he ain't got no. So when I was in California, we were doing these lives. This is the wildfire that we had.
Now California's largest wildfire this year. It has burned more than 63,000 acres. Containment is just 20%. New evacuation orders were issued on Tuesday and Wednesday in El Dorado County. More than 11,000 people in El Dorado and Placer counties are currently evacuated from their homes after the flames jumped the American River.
All right.
Wayfair helps all of us create a home we love.
The Wayfair vibe at our place, Western.
But we all got our own thing.
Drama.
Glamour.
Gardening.
In the
We don't have a cause yet. It is yet undetermined. We do have a lot of other fires that are lightning starts. Those we can confirm. One of those is the China fire, which is burning just west of the McKinney fire. It's just currently at about 400 acres. The thunderstorms coming into the area. The threat of those is erratic fire spread. It means that we can't predict which way the fire is going to go. When those thunder cells collapse, they tend to drive the fire in all directions. Obviously, that's a threat to firefighters.
This is how it looked every single day for like a whole week. When you go outside, this is how it looked. When I was out in California, this is my first time ever experiencing a wildfire. But yeah, you go outside, the sky is orange and gray. This is all you see everywhere. Now, of course, the fire didn't make it down to the city, but this is how the whole city looked for like a whole week. They advised you to stay in because they didn't want you to breathe all this stuff. And good thing for me, I wasn't working, so I was just chilling. I was just smoking and chilling, just living life. But yeah, so California, they get wildfires every year. And at that time, this was the largest one in California in 2022. It was up by the bay. Now, it was probably about 70 miles from us, but all the smoke and stuff, it came over into the city. And it was the same thing. It was a drought. And this is what it looked like on the Hollywood Hills. I worked in Orange County during that time too. Yeah, man, them wildfires ain't no joke. And they still saying that the fire is 0% contained, man. And shit, the Eaton fire is too. Jeez Louise. 17,000 acres, so that's but 30,000 acres pretty much. That isn't contained, just on fire. Yeah, so here's everywhere that the fires are. And they said that the initial fire, I think it was here in Eaton. Yeah, the initial fire was somewhere over here, and then it went into the line, the forest line here, the tree line, and then the winds coming off of the mountains blew it to all these other locations. Damn, man. Devastating for sure. Look at that. Nothing is left standing. It's just everything is down. That's one thing about these German homes. Like my whole house is concrete. So all my walls are concrete. That's why my internet don't be. I got my internet box as close as I can to this wall so it can try to get outside. But that's why the internet be so choppy over here. But I'm about to get on out of here, man. We got 2 hours in. If you're in Los Angeles, stay safe. Stay on the lookout. Be alert. Stay up to date because you never know, these fires could jump. I pray for everyone out there. If they tell you to evacuate, do what's best. Don't risk it. It ain't worth it. Get on out of there. We learned a little bit today, and we went over it. I'm Mo.J. This is the Mo You Know. Y'all stay safe. I gotta get ready for work tomorrow, and we'll be back tomorrow night. I'll probably do 2 lives. We might watch a live. I mean, we might watch a movie in Discord. If I can get a good copy, we'll watch maybe Den of Thieves 2 in Discord, or we'll watch Sugar Mama. We'll see what we can do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Like Trill said, life is more important than anything. Y'all be safe, man. Y'all be safe. Hey, Trill, text me real quick. Trill. I'll be on here tomorrow, man, on the main channel. Thanks for watching. I'm out. Remember, you can run, but you can't hide. I'm Mo.J. This is the Mo You Know.